gown about to go and get some food. Right? Oh,
Stitched him right up there. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the after-match reaction, Berardi and Coke with Don't Know Better. I'm joined with Gilly tonight, who was there, very lucky enough to be there tonight. How you doing, mate? All right?
Yeah, not bad. I'm not sure how long my voice will hold up, but not so bad.
I keep saying tonight. I know it's this evening now. It was actually this afternoon, the game, and yeah, plenty of things to talk about. We just caught Carl there unawares. He joined in for a bit of a Cal pre us going live, and we caught him in his Superman dressing gown. But yeah, we'll play the intro. We'll get into it.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and thank you ever so much for joining us following that draw. I mean, it feels a bit weird to say that, given the manner of certainly the first half's performance. I know we'll come on to other parts, because I think quite a lot of people have got different opinions based on the performances and where we expected to go from here. I put a poll on. We'll come to that as well, just on whether it's managed to change people's minds. Just really quickly before I do move forward, we've got a gentleman named Grant trying to join us, but Grant, you've not got any devices connected, mate, so we can't add you to the chat until you've connected those. So we would have no sound or audio. But if you do want to join us, you're more than welcome. But just get your phone and allow your video and audio, please. So first things first, how do you feel, mate? I know your voice isn't all great, but I know you've probably lost quite a lot of it. So how do you feel after that? Do you feel? I mean, obviously it's a 0.1. I think for me, certainly with going into sort of the 90th minute and that, and the crowd, the songs that were floating around the crowd. But do you think that was a fair reflection of the performance?
I thought we deserved to win. I think in terms of the patterns of play, I thought that on balance, what they did was really off the back of what we'd done poorly rather than what they'd done well. We stepped off them. We allowed them too much space in midfield, and we allowed them to come on to us. But when on balance of play, I think I've not been able to look at any of the stats. I've not been over very long. But I would be very surprised if they had more attempts at goal than we did. Certainly, I think corners were probably massively in our favour. So I'll get into that and have a look while we're on and just see if I'm right or not. But the way that it felt in the stands, yes, of course, getting late on in the game and we're still losing, there's a lot of tension around, and some of the songs that were being sung towards the board and so on, that started coming out. There was a chant for Bielsa. You know, the crowd didn't really turn. It turned for about 5 minutes, and then there were a lot of positivity again and trying to build the team up. But yeah, I think obviously there's a lot of anxiety get in the closing stages. Even though we're making some chances, we're still losing. So there's naturally going to be some anxiety. But on balance of play, it felt like we were the better team when you were sat in the stadium. And I know Carl, just as you said, he were having a Carl with us just before we came on, but and we're in a scenario where he sees it a bit differently. We're sitting in different areas of the stadium. I suppose there's a bit to be said for that. It always feels differently to at home. But I were in North East Lower, very close to the Cop End goal, and from the position I were in, like I said, I asked in group chat about whether the handball were an handball. It looked like it might have been purely on principle. I didn't see the actual thing. I just saw all of the players go up as one and all claim for it. So there's a bit of that, but I think we'll get into some of the detail as we move forward. It felt like a point gained because it was so late on, but it was twinged with that but that's an opportunity missed where we could have taken 3, especially when you look at the other results. And the way that
I was just going to say there. I mean, we'd have gone above Everton tonight had we taken all 3. I mean, from my perspective, Matt, I think it's a point drawn. I mean, I watched it. As we know, I had to sell my ticket at the last minute. I couldn't make it today. I had to watch it on the telly, and I obviously saw as much of the game as I possibly could in terms of. So I tried sort of keeping a bit of an open mind. I've been really sort of positive over the last few weeks, and I just felt that first 40 minutes or so, I think we had a strong sort of 5-6 minutes towards the end of the first half, but that first 40 minutes, I was sort of really, really lackluster, and I just thought that, we deserved to pretty much, in my opinion, probably didn't deserve to stay up. But we'll go into the first thing I want to talk about, and that was obviously the formation and the starting lineup. We've all been talking about and promoting how much we want to see Calvin back in that single pivot, and 2 midfielders in front of him with then your front 3 and 4 at the back. Well, we got that today. We got Robin Koch starting in an unnatural right back position, and we had obviously Firpo starting as well over Strike from the other night as well. Which, to give them their due, I thought those 2 had a real good game, both Koch and Firpo. But how welcomed was it in and around the terraces then when we saw, the starting sort of 4-1, 4-1-2-3 or whatever it is, 4-1-4-1, however you want to look at it?
It's always a little bit more difficult, especially when you're close to the pitch level, as I was today, to really be able to see how they're setting out. It looked like it would a 4-3-3 with Calvin in the centre of a 3. For me, I think Harrison was a bit further back than Rafinha, and it looked like Rodrigo, Rafinha and Gellert were a front 3 with Jackie Harrison, Click and Calvin in the middle behind them. Whether that was the case or not, I'm not sure. It's always, like I said, it's always a bit difficult if you're at pitch level. But I think, I went Peacock when the team came out, and there were a lot of, there's no Bamford, we're playing Firpo, and I think that there were a bit of, but at the same time, we're playing Joffe, he's getting his start. Obviously, what happened at Arsenal was a disappointment for those people that have been pushing for him to start, and then I think taking him off was probably the most obvious solution at that point in the game, given the context of what had happened. So he got his chance today, and I think, for me, I think he played really well. I thought he were in a difficult scenario today against some big centre halves, and given his size, he plays with no fear, and I love that about him. So I think, there were mixed emotions, really. It was are we going to play a back 3? We've got 3 centre backs. Are we going to see Firpo on one side? Please don't play Rafinha at wing back. There were a lot of that going on. I think when you see them shaping up, I think really there were just anxiety about, these have spanked the scum. What are we going to do? And I think we're still in a position where we don't really know what we're going to get on any given day. So there's a lot of anxiety around that, I think. Yeah,
just on that, actually, I think there's real conflicting and polar arguments for today's performance. I felt it was an average performance from a Leeds United side, but I think that's because we became accustomed to seeing a Bielsa performance, and what we did today was better than what we'd seen in the previous 3 games, but there was still so much to improve on. But are we improving under Marsch? Would you agree? I think we are.
Well, I think you look at Calvin and the fact that he'd been out of the side for a while. He's one that usually gets back up to speed really quickly, but I didn't think he'd really been on his game. I thought he were better today. I think the side's been impacted. Dan James not being available when he's played just about every game he's been available for. So that's a miss. Stewie Dallas unavailable. Forshaw not available. So, we're still in that position where Ayling not available is a big change as well. And I think, that Marsch's hand's been forced to a certain extent in some of those positions. But actually what that's led to is a number 9 playing in a number 9 position. wingers playing on the wing and central midfielders playing in central midfield. It was a bit of a makeshift thing where we got a centre back at right back. I thought he did his best. I didn't think, certainly in the first half, he got caught out of position a couple of times. He got caught under the ball. But there were one where he got caught under the ball, and then he was the one that actually made the last-ditch tackle to stop the goal-scoring opportunity. So
he made some great challenges.
He was the one that had made the mistake to let them in, but then he got himself out of that with a really well-timed tackle. That if he got that wrong, it's a penalty all day.
Of course. So I think you're spot on, mate. And just when you take that into consideration, the amount of absentees we've got through injuries and suspensions, and we go to and we play against a side that spanked Scum, like you say, 4-0 last week. Only last week they absolutely spanked and played them off the park. Scum was shite. But when you take that into consideration and think of what threadbare side we had out there today, you can't help but think that's a really strong point that we've played for. And we actually, in argument, we could have possibly taken all three. I mean, we've mentioned before that you on another day we probably could have won that game. I'm just going to go back and just sort of I mean, a bit of a reality check, really, but we could have probably been 2 or 3 down at halftime. Looking back at the chances, when you see the highlights later on tonight on Match of the Day 2 or whatever else, you'll probably appreciate that some of their chances were a lot better chances than maybe that you gave them credit for maybe at the time while being there. But yeah, we were really, we've started well, sort of first 5-10, I think, probably energetic and whatever else, and then obviously they scored. Welbeck, what an absolute cracking finish that was. When you see that back, mate, as well, unbelievable. To have the composure to do that there, he
lifted it over him, didn't he?
Yeah, it was great finish, to be fair. But yeah, I think we probably, certainly people I've been speaking to that suggest that maybe, we should have won that game. Then, I mean, it's all ifs and buts, but they could have quite easily been and comfortably been out of sight at half time. So we went into half time with all 11 players, which is a great bonus.
It's a bonus
based on recent weeks. And then we come out the second half, and I don't know what he said to him, probably fight and win or something along those lines at half time. Believe you. I believe that we will win. And then. But yeah, just came out completely different side. I thought we absolutely controlled the second half. They still had their chances, but we looked far more in control that second half. Would you agree with that?
Like I say, I think we gave them a little bit too much, maybe too much respect. But yeah, we certainly allowed them a lot of space when they had the ball. Rodrigo. I don't know if it's because you end up comparing him to Dan James because he's been playing up front, but it looked like he was running in treacle at times. It really looked like he was towing. But maybe he's just not that fast a footballer. But yeah, so I think we had the measure of him. Although, like I say, may have given him a little bit too much respect, a little bit too much space. So I think we dominated the game to a certain extent without forcing too much.
Yeah, and I think just on the Rodrigo point there, it's a shame the last couple of games he looked absolutely knackered because when Jesse Marsch came in, he looked almost like the resurrection. He looked he was probably unarguably one of our better players, if not the best player in the side for those few games. And he just seems to have taken another step back. And I don't know if it's confidence, but you could see once we got that equaliser today, the lads were running as if it was the first minute again, and it's just something like that can really kickstart and give us the motivation and the belief that with that I think we'll need moving forward. Well, we've got a guest actually. Shall we get on to the guest, or shall we do some comments first? Let's do some comments and then we'll get the guest on. Big Lou's here from LS11. We'll just start back from near enough the start. Here we go. Just scored goal on the season. Really, a point is better than nothing, but what was really needed was 3 points, given that both Bill and Everton lost today. Look, you can look at it like that, Michael, but we've picked a point up while the other two have not. So look, they've got 2 games left. We still need to be doing something in this last game for me, though. Should have known you were up to something. I think that's to do with when we caught him out in his Superman dress up. Good evening, Dark Destroyer. If that goal had went in the first 10 minutes, different game. I can't help but agree. I think if we score that, have you seen the replay yet, Matt? It's Liam Cooper in the nose.
No. Yeah,
he stops it with his face. I think you're right. I think we were good for the first 5 or 10 minutes, and I think had we scored there, the momentum's completely in our favour. And it is a different game. I mean, they did have their chances, but look, it's one of those. They did keep getting behind. Matt's alluded to that. Cock and Firpo were a little bit out of position a couple of times, probably because we've been playing with 5. They've had a bit more freedom and have been allowed to get forward a little bit more because they'd have a centre back filling in for them, which unfortunately they didn't have today. But yeah, we'll come on to the was Mike Dean as bad on the telly? I don't think he was that bad. He was typical Mike Dean. He wasn't. I mean, but he wasn't overly bad. I think he's always shit, and he's just used to it now. Firpo is due today. Thought he would well, but rather have Pascal ahead of him for the Brentford match. Not sure on that one at left back. I think Pascal did great today. Pascal, I'd play him up top actually. Fuck it. Play him up fucking front. Firpo had 3 good games. Didn't see today games. Yeah, he's not been too bad, has he? In comparison to when he was here, when he was playing under Bielsa, he was an absolute caged animal, wasn't he? It was almost like he was trying to be Alioski and just get booked every game. But he's just
which he did again today.
Yeah, which he did again. He just looks uncontrollable defensively. He's the typical Spanish left back. That's not Cucurella. He's everything that Cucurella isn't he? He's not Spanish either, is he? I
thought he was Argentinian.
No, he's from Cucurella. Sorry, but I'm on about Firpo. Firpo's from like Central America somewhere. I've forgotten one of those countries out there. Plays that Marsch plays in like Rafa in the natural position. This is a real big one for me. We've cried out as fans for Joffrey to start, and whilst we might have been forced into it, we've got that for Rafa to play on the right wing. We've got that for Calvin starting the one-man pivot. We've got that. There was nothing really for the fans to argue with today in terms of the lineup. There was nothing. We couldn't change anything really from that starting 11. Just on that, actually, would there have been anything that you'd have started differently today, Gilly?
There was some talk, and I kind of agreed with it about Shackleton starting over Cock at right back position. I think if you look at some of the games that Shaq had early on in the season, he was playing really well before he got injured. I think I'd have to go back and check the stats, but I think he had 5 games, 8% pass completion rate. So with that, and I think it gives us a bit of additional energy and dynamism at right back that Cock just naturally just doesn't offer.
Cock's a centre back, isn't it? He's a centre back, you know. Yeah. Evening, lads. Just got back to the game. Finding something to cheer about. I think so. I think we've got to be positive after that point. Firpo played much better. Scum of shite. Yep. Not a bad weekend. Toby Larone. What a great name, by the way. Their keeper made some belting saves. We've got to touch on that. I think on another day we play against any other side. And we've probably scored 4 or 5 today. But again, I'm not going to sort of disregard and the chances they had, because they had some real good chances, and Meslier made a couple of good saves too. So I've lost all the comments. Here we go. Sorry, lads, but he's got a touch like a trampoline. I'm not sure who it is.
Rodrigo.
Yeah, it might be Rodrigo. That one, Rodrigo, where he pushed forward and made that pass to Raf, shows he has the quality. He has got the quality, but at the moment, because he's been played centrally and midfield, he always seems to pick the ball up for me and face backwards. He doesn't seem to want to advance, and it's so frustrating. I think it's a point gained. Had this as a draw, great stuff. Brentford score, not good for us. Understatement. I disagree because I think it brings Everton right into the.
Is you saying it's not good? It's great, as in good isn't.
Oh right, yeah, probably.
It's an understatement.
Yeah, probably. Luke, you said a bit earlier you think we've improved under Jesse Marsch. Do you believe that? No, I don't think we've improved under Jesse Marsch. I think we've improved since he's came in. I think from the quality in the games that we have seen. Sorry, I don't think we've improved since he's come in. I think we've improved over the last sort of since we've been shit under him. I think today was an improvement on the previous 3. Is probably where I'm coming from on that. I don't think he's improved as a team as such. But we have become far more difficult to score against. I mean, just for comparison, Scum conceding 4 against them, and we've conceded 1. You know, so for width, Not sure. Oh, that's what you want next, is it, Lee? You want to tell him to play everybody wide, I'm guessing. Firpo is from the Dominican. Yeah, I thought it was somewhere out there. Cucurella is Spanish. If we get relegated, how many players can leave and leave us? Only allowed a tiny transfer spend. I'm not sure what you mean. Leave us only. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, put those chances away. That was a low bar, though. Meslier, class keeper, distribution shocking, blind on the left side. Right, yeah, he is blind on the left side. And on the right side, there's a couple of times when Shaq came on and there was an easy ball out and, yeah, just didn't do it. And his kicking seems to... I think he's under a lot of pressure himself. He's a young goalkeeper. We're taking a bit of a hammering now and then, a lot of the time. And, yeah, I think he's a good keeper, but he's got a lot to learn. Gilly, this one for you. Do you feel we've improved without the stupid man marking system?
I think we have. I think when you look at the sorts of goals that we were conceding and the regularity with which it was happening, I think that something needed to change there. And we touched on Firpo and potential improvements in him. I remember one of the games, I think it might have been a Spurs game towards the end of Bielsa's time with us, and he was on the right wing because he tracked his man. And just our shape suffered from people understanding that we were going to track him. Well, okay, if you're going to track me, I'm going to go right the way over there, and somebody else is going to come in and take advantage of that fact. And that led to other teams knowing just how to pull us apart.
They'd almost worked us out, and it didn't happen in the Championship because they weren't that quality. But in the Premier League, we were worked out after the first season, arguably, and quite quickly. And like you say, so the zonal marking has improved us, but the pressing style still worries me at times. When you've got 4 or 5 players, it's almost like playground style pressing, where everybody just shoots to the ball. And the good side finds you out, and we get beat by 4-0 by City. I can see what he's trying to do, and I understand it. But a good side will just switch the ball and leave us 4 players on one side, and it is really, really scary to watch at times. But next point, biggest point we picked up this year, I broke down when we scored. I'm way too invested. Look, I'm not going to lie, mate. Teared up. I thought, you know what? I thought we were down after 90 minutes, and then we scored that. And I didn't sit there crying my eyes out or anything, but I did. I got that emotion, when he sort of starts running through you. Good point, this one. He needs competition, does Meslier. That is, that is probably, that is an older head, an experience.
Not even just competition. Not even just competition, but to know that if he's carrying a knock, that actually there's somebody that's got some experience that can come in and cover. Because there were a couple of times
didn't do too bad in this game that he came in.
No, he didn't. He didn't. No, I agree.
But it's that older head, isn't it? I think that most successful football clubs have got that older, experienced head. And I'm not saying bloody Kiko's the answer because he's coming back, but we need almost a Joe Hart or somebody like that. And I don't like Joe Hart as a great example, but somebody who's been there, done it for England and got the experience. Somebody who can come in and just make him feel a little bit more at ease. So yeah, great point, Lee. Right, what I'm going to do now is get Big Lou in, and he's going to answer the next question.
Just that last one.
No, I want Lou to answer this.
Okay. Yeah, go on then.
Evening, Lou. How are you?
I'm knackered. How are you?
Have you been to the game today?
I didn't go. My last one was Chelsea, unfortunately.
Right. Okay. So did you manage to watch?
I was listening on the radio, and it was the most stressed I've ever been. I was on a train on my way back from a wedding, and I embarrassed myself when we scored and just repeatedly punched my suitcase. I don't think I was even happy. I was just punching my suitcase. And my fiance looked at me and assumed it was a good thing, which it was. It was a big point.
Did she start shouting? Did she start sort of like signaling people walking past her saying, "Help me"?
Yeah, he's all right. He's all right.
He keeps following me. So the question we've got for you, that's just come in, and I'd like you to answer it, I suppose, better than anyone. But you'll have seen the pictures on social media and the videos going around of both Rafa and Phillips staying out on the pitch, and Phillips walking on with his mum for a lap, a tour to Ellen Road.
He walked on with his mum.
He did after the game, yeah. He did a bit of a lap and he embracing his mum and cuddled her, and then they had a little bit walk around the pitch. Are we overthinking it, or what do you make of it, Lou?
Well, if it was the rest of the team doing it in our final home game and sort of.
Oh shit! Sorry, Lou, muted you there.
My back.
Yeah, you're back. Sorry, mate. That was me. I meant to mute myself so I could have a vape and you didn't have to listen to it. But go
on. I think they're on their way. I think there was a reason it was both them. But then again, that might have just been who the cameras were focusing on. I don't know if there were any other players out there, and it was obviously the last home game of the season. But with everything that's happened, regardless of the point we got today, you'd think everything is sort of pointing towards the fact that. They know something that we don't, and they are on their way out. It certainly we sort of knew that with Raf anyway, I guess. But with Calvin, I think we sort of thought if we survived, there's still a chance he might stay. But we don't really know what's in the works in the background.
No.
It would be sad, but I'd bite your hand off now if you said that we survived and lose both of them, because although. For Leeds United, they're obviously brilliant players, but everybody's replaceable. And Calvin hasn't been amazing since he's come back, as we know he can play. So I think there's certainly somebody that we could get to come in and make us stronger next year. And we need to buy 3 or 4 midfielders anyway.
Do you think then? Yeah, I think we do. I think you're right. I think you're spot on. But I mean, Calvin's Mr. Leeds United, isn't it? I mean, if we could keep hold of any player in that squad, if we stayed up, he'd be my first choice.
Yeah, and I think probably Gelhart's probably not far behind. Before the game started today, there was probably, a list of 4 players that we needed to stand up. One was Raf, one was Rodrigo, and one was Phillips. I say probably Raf was up there today. He gave a lot. But Joffrey as well, he's definitely an asset. He's definitely someone that if we do get relegated, you can see us definitely needing him. He's gone up in value for sure. I mean, that was a ridiculous bit of skill when you see it close up.
Yeah,
as well,
it's unreal.
To beat those players.
And then just have the audacity to flick it over him in the 6-yard box and then not shoot or blast it in, but to lift it over to the back post is unbelievable. I think. Right, quick yes or no then. Do they both leave if we stay up or go down regardless? Is that what you're saying?
I think they are, yeah.
Gilly, what about you?
We're not reading too much into it, I don't think.
You'd hope that if we stay up and we sell Rafinha, that we get enough money that we don't need to sell anybody else. Again, like you say, we don't know what's in the works, but you would. I think that there's talks of there's a release fee of just over £20 million for Rafinha if we get relegated. But if we don't, then Barca can't afford him. But there's going to be plenty of other suitors that will come in for him, and that's going to be a sizable sum.
If we stay up, what would you value him at?
You've got to be looking at 70 for a first team Brazil winger.
For a Wyatt, when he came back from Brazil, I would have said £100 million, but he's just not. He's not been great for the rest of the season, and I think you're probably around about right. It's between 60 and 70, and it's got to be.
He's a starting player a starting winger for Brazil. That's always going to add. You get a premium for England players, you get a premium for Brazilian wingers and forwards, don't you? So I think for me, if we stay up and Rafinha does move on to a PSG or somebody like that that's going to pay big money for him, I don't want to see him playing in England for somebody else. I really don't. I don't want to see any of them playing in England for somebody else. But it might come to that. But you would hope that what the club can do is show additional investment and additional pushing on and trying to improve themselves so that your Calvin's doesn't feel like he's going to hamper his career by staying with us.
Yeah, fair point. I think for me, my belief is that if we stay up, Calvin will see what happens in the summer. I don't think he'll jump the gun, regardless of offers out there. I think I think there's probably, regardless of whether we stay up or go down, I think there's a lot going to happen this summer. I think it's going to be a big summer at Leeds United. And I think we're going to see a lot of change, whether that's in sale of the club, additional investors and whatnot. But I think we're going to see a bit of a, I don't know. I think that takes me on to my next point, actually. Let's talk about the 5-minute chanting that we heard for the removal of certain members of the hierarchy, shall we say, at Leeds United. Warranted.
Sell the club and fuck off home.
Yeah, sell the club and fuck off home and sack the board, I think was the other one.
Sack the board. And this is on you, Rajazani. This is on you.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do we make of that then, chaps? Do we think that's that? I mean, we've got. I've said previously that I'm thankful and respectful of the work that he's done to get us to the Premier League, to this level. But there has to be something and somebody held accountable for the poor league position that we're in. And ultimately, it falls down to having a shit squad. And not necessarily shit players, but a thin, threadbare squad. And that only falls down to a number of people. That is not the players, the current players. That is not Jesse Marsch, who's inherited that squad. It's everybody there still now and potentially people there before. Do you think the chanting is warranted, though, regardless? These people are businessmen. They're not, they are lovers of football, but they're not Leeds United. They're not born and bred Leeds fans, like we are. And they don't have any, other than a financial commitment to this club. Do we think that chanting is going to be productive? I suppose is the best question.
I think so. Like staying up for me doesn't change the fact they need to go. To be honest, for me, we shouldn't be in this mess. For one, it's not just about results. You could probably name 10 things in the last even 2 or 3 months that have just gone wrong. We shouldn't be in this mess. It is about investment. It is about recruitment of players. And, in the same way, there has to be a contingency plan for if we go down and we do sell Rafinha and Phillips. We have to be ambitious in that moment. We can't just say, right, we've sold Rafinha. Yeah, we didn't get what we wanted for him, but it's all right. We can play Ian Poveda on the wing for the championship season. That's not good enough for me. We need to be ambitious. And if we are going to do a reset in the summer, that needs to happen at board level as well for me.
Fair. Gilly?
Yeah, I think...
Did you chant? That's the first question. Did you chant?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I chanted the entire game. I did join in with them one. That's why I don't have a voice very much. No, I didn't, but I didn't feel that it was particularly unfair either. So I think in the position where coming into the January transfer window, Cooper's injured, Calvin's injured, Paddy's injured, and all we do is sit on our hands and not make moves. And you look at what other clubs have done. Villa were very, very nearly relegated and stayed up on a pure technical failure. And they put a lot of money into their side, and then strengthened further when they were in trouble. Newcastle strengthened when they were in trouble, and we've seen, all right, Everton strengthened as well, in inverted commas, but actually brought Donny van der Beek and who was it in from Spurs? They've done nothing. Dele Alli, they've just done nothing. So, yeah, and that'll have cost them a lot of money. But everybody were like, it's the end of the world. Donny van der Beek's going to take them up to mid-table, and we're going to get relegated because they've signed him and we haven't. He's barely played. So I think there's never any real value in the January transfer window. I think we've seen over over recent years that signings that we've made have really struggled, and they've struggled to get up to speed anyway. In that point, plus with Bielsa in charge, we're in that position where he takes 3 or 4 months to get trust in a player and to get that player up to the speed of where he wants them to be at, so they wouldn't have been playing anyway. So for me, I think it's if you're going to make a decision to change up in the way that they did, Bielsa needs to go sooner. For me, either Bielsa went in December or he stays to the end of the season, and you make your decision there and then. So for me, I think that is inaction on the part of the board, or late action, should I say, in as much as they left it too late to make that decision. And then, as you said, Marsch has inherited a squad that he's not put together. He's not had any input at all to. And then you're in that position where we've not strengthened. We've not brought experienced players in. You know, you look at Newcastle and the players that they've signed. They've signed an experienced Premier League striker and an experienced Premier League fullback.
Yeah.
Well, what would that have done for our season?
Yeah, I'd have taken just about any striker in January with the injuries that we had, and it's obviously continued to basically the whole season without Bamford, which, you know, in many ways it will be a complete miracle if we do stay up. If we look back and go through all of the injuries and now the suspensions and now the fact Bamford isn't going to play clearly at all this season now. Mate, I say this tongue in cheek, but I'd have probably taken Solomon Rondon in January transfer window, you know, and then at least
see what he's done today.
we would have had a striker. I mean, yeah, obviously that was hilarious. He lasted, 45 seconds or whatever it was.
What happened?
Two-footed. Somebody got sent off just after he come on.
Yes. Attacking
that would Everton's. That would Everton's second red card today.
Brilliant. Then go on. Sorry, Lou.
Yeah, no, just complete implosion. So maybe Solomon Rondon wasn't the best example, but any striker, I think, that would have, been a recognised striker in that position would have probably been helpful. We were never going to get, all right, so Aylin's injured and we bring in Kieran Trippier. That sort of thing's not going to happen. But not just that. What Gilly was saying, that they've added value to those squads. They've sort of earned their money in that respect. Trippier came in and started. He scored a couple of free kicks in consecutive games that were probably big goals at that time as well. So they made an impact as well. And who's to say if we were to get someone and, they settled quickly, that they wouldn't have made an impact for us.
It's a fair point.
Really knowing the facts. Bielsa was very stubborn with that,
The problem we've got, Lou, is Bielsa was in charge throughout the January window. It was absolutely berserk time to sack Bielsa. If you were gonna, if you were ever gonna keep, if you ever having doubts, you would have let somebody come in and do a bit in January and whatever. But I think that sort of leads me on to what I want to talk about in sort of the Jesse Marsch slating, and we've all got our own opinions on this, and I've had lots and lots of discussions online about Jesse Marsch and whether he's been beneficial to us and whether or not we've improved. There's no doubt we've become more difficult to beat. No doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt. So I've seen people saying he needs to go at the end of the season, regardless of whether we stay up or down. Do you think we're being a little bit harsh on him if we stay in the Premier League?
It's absolutely ridiculous. He said himself, with what he's inherited, the squad he's inherited, for him to keep us up, he'd have done a brilliant job to do that. Yes, you need a bit of luck in these situations, but there's no way on earth you can blame him. I'm not going to say I wasn't in the Bielsa out camp. Watching all those back-to-back games and seeing us losing, but we sacked Bielsa, and we didn't have another run of games like that coming up until the ones that we've just seen, where we've lost obviously to Man City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. In that position, maybe we were a bit trigger happy with it. I was definitely in the Bielsa out camp. It felt like the end when we lost to Spurs at home, 4-0, and goals were just being walked into the back of the net. It seemed, it was tough. Yeah. It was tough, but I'm not going to back out and say that I think he should have stayed till the end of the season or anything like that, because we were just shipping too many goals. Marsch has made us solid, but not completely. When we concede goals, some of it still feels really similar to before.
Is that what he's inherited? Just to put things in perspective, he's been in charge for 11 games. He's lost 5 of those. He's lost 5 out of 11, and the 5 of those, they were the first 2 against Leicester and Villa. Yeah. And then against City, against Chelsea, and against Arsenal. They're the only 5 games he's lost since he's been in charge. I think the real gripe is is more around the performances, and because as I said before, earlier on, we became so accustomed to seeing a Bielsa type football match and high energy, and even it would either win 5-0 or lose sort of 7-5 or whatever, and it brought like almost a new style and forget everything type football style, and I think because we've become and been spoiled as fans to see exciting football win or lose. We almost don't want to see a shithouse 1-0 performance. Do you know what I mean? And I think as fans, we've become overly entitled to see exciting, expressive football. I mean, nothing can get in the way, and nothing. I mean, nothing can sort of apologise for shit passing and shit movement and not tracking and not doing things like that. They're individual points, but you can see that the foundations of what Jesse Marsch is trying to do. I just don't think he's got the players and had the time yet. People are going to tell me he's been in charge for 3 months now. That's not the point. That's not the same as a pre-season. And picking your own squad and seeing them and stuff. He's inherited. He's not had any input. He's also had numerous injuries. He's had silly, stupid, bloody challenges. Do I think he's the answer? And do I think he's going to take us to European football over the next 5 years? Absolutely not. I don't think so. I don't think he is. But I just think we're being very judgmental and a bit short, a bit short-sighted, I suppose, as a fan base in that respect. So, do you agree with that, or do you think I'm being a bit?
No. Fact of the matter is, the board are not going to sack Jesse Marsch. They are going to give him transfer windows, a pre-season, and all of these things. He is,
regardless of what league we're in.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'll be here if we're in the Championship. He won't be.
You don't?
No, I don't think so. I think he'll think he's above.
Would that be because he walks, or because they'd sack him?
They would. I don't think they'd sack him. I think he'll probably walk onto a different project. But I think ultimately the difference between us, Burnley, and Everton, for instance, although it being a lot of factors that over the course of the season, is that we haven't beaten top 6 sides. Burnley have beaten Spurs. Everton have beaten Scum and Chelsea. Last season when we finished 9th, we beat Man City. We drew against Scum. We drew against Chelsea. We picked up points. We haven't done that at all. When you look at our 8 wins, 2 are against Norwich, and then we've had 6 more in 37 games.
Goes back to what Gilly said about the. What did you say earlier, Gilly, about the performances? Am I still here? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah. You asked the question about whether we've improved, and I think in the Leicester performance we saw some good stuff. We got beat, but I thought that we played well against Leicester, and I think from as far as performances under Marsch go, I think today we're one of the better ones, if not the best. I didn't think that we hit anything like Bielsa's best performances, nothing like at all. No. And it's not at all the same style. But looking at, we've pocked some results. Wolves imploded against us. That wasn't a good performance on our part. We played poorly against Southampton. We played poorly against most of the sides, but we were difficult to break down. We played a low block formation. We played on the break, and it was effective without being entertaining. I thought today was a better performance.
I think our best performance actually came in a loss away at Leicester under Jesse Marsch. I think that was probably our best. I think it was his first game in charge, in fact.
It was.
Away at Leicester. I think. Oh, did you? Sorry, mate. I was fucking on. But yeah, look, I think we, as a fan base, and I can't obviously speak on behalf of everybody. We're all entitled to an opinion. I don't want people to start arguing about it and stuff, but I still feel that we are being very short-sighted and need to give him a benefit of the doubt and a bit more time before we actually judge him if we go down or stay up. What I'm going to do is fly through a few more of these bloody comments because I know we're having quite a few. Let's start with this one. Mesley always in the spotlight. What other keeper on his age would have done well and patched up a changing back four? Fair comment. Yeah, he's 22-year-old. I've seen them picks. Grant looks like it's last time we see him at Elland Road. I think he's probably on about the 2 we spoke about. It's an always emotional roller coaster. Big Nigel still lives local. Let's get him to do the coaching. Look, let's get him in. Big Lou, I haven't seen you on LS11 in a while. Have you left the podcast now?
No.
No,
I haven't. No, I haven't.
no, he hasn't. Just don't get invited on because he talks shite.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
One of 3 favourite players all time, Big Nige and Robbo, probably busy with their cricket team. I've got Matthew. It's got Matthew. That's excessive vibes, Lou.
Punching his suitcase.
Ah, right, yeah.
Do you remember the video?
Yeah.
Matthew, that's excessive. Fuck off. Oh.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be in this position, but
It
hey,
was a
what's
bit like
next?
that, yeah.
If we get relegated, we will be down for a long time. Bye-bye to all our best players. That's a good talking point, actually. Do you think if we get relegated, we bounce back up, or do you think we struggle again?
No, we don't bounce back up. But
Do you not think?
But we have to. We have to show ambition with our squad, but there's absolutely no guarantees.
Obviously.
We spent so many years in the Championship. We know better than to think we're going to bounce straight back.
No, but I think the difference this time would be we'd get a handsome amount of money for some key players and have a bit of a rebuild, and we'd also have the parachute payments as well. So it
depends.
We'd be in a much better position than just a Championship side. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gilly,
based on the, I think we would. I think if you look at the squad that we've got now and the youth that we've got available, I think if you look at Joffrey and Greenwood, I think they'll scare lots of defense, especially and Dan James. I think we overpaid for. He's turned me around in some of the performances he's put in because I like the fact that he bullies the fuck out of 6'6" players. He's gonna, if we retain some of these players, they're gonna tear apart the Championship.
Does Bamford stay?
Bamford stays, yeah.
I don't think Bamford gets a move because he spent all season injured.
Yeah.
So I don't think he gets a move, even if we were looking to move on. I don't think
he'd leave either because of the support he's had in through all of his injuries, and I think he loves it here now as well. So
we should guilt trip him about being injured if he tries to leave, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah. Will Bamford will he be available for Brentford? I think we might see him. I bet he travelled.
Not even on the bench today.
No, he wasn't. I think he travels though. We might see him last 10, 1-0 down. We need a draw to stay up, and he comes on, fucking header from the halfway line.
Injures himself in celebration.
Yeah, this really concerns me. LUFC England 7 has said that Phillips was definitely in tears as he walked past the South stand. If you could tell us a little bit more about that, please do. Was this after the game? I assume it was.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly wasn't when the first. So I stayed afterwards when the players did the lap. Clapped him off last game of season. I tend to get off at full time usually, but stayed behind and clapped him off. So if he came back on with his mum and he were crying at that point, I don't know. The emotion might have got to the better of him rather than anything else. But it was just respectful to the fans when they were walking around. Cooper leads them round as ever. Calvin were one at last to walk around. I think it was Calvin and Strike that were walking around together, and then Luke Ayling and a few of the others that weren't in the match day squad walked around with the coaches as well, clapping us. There were no raw emotion there at that point, so that must have been when he came back out with his mum.
Right. Well, guess that's that leaves a bit of an open question, which I'm sure we'll start hearing about, and rumours and things over the next. Smash the like. Thanks, Derek. Yeah, everyone hit the like button and subscribe if you don't already, please. That'd be great. Thanks to Spurs today. Pablo and his family were on the pitch with them. Yeah, saw that. Pablo in the stands today. Lovely to see him on the telly. Great to have him back. Both Raff and Phillips had the look of players leaving. Phillips was in tears as he walked past the South stand. Yeah, just said that. Hopefully invest. KP might stay if we stay up. Shit, I'm getting hopeful again. Raf, man of the match. We'll come on to man of the matches. Raf to leave. KP, hopefully to stay. We don't need to keep any of the players, but we definitely do need to get rid of Ayling, Cooper, Dallas, Click, and Forshaw. We need a Premier League backbone. Wow. Wow.
So our best right back, our best centre back, our
only midfielder.
Utility player.
Our only midfielders.
Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic.
I don't know about that one more. I think that one's going to certainly a bit. You might get a few comments about that one. Should have bought in before. I definitely think it started to go tits up when the 49ers got involved. Can't agree anymore. Joint ownership doesn't work, and I have a feeling that that something's been said in January. Obviously they upped their stake, and Look, we didn't sign anybody. We didn't even look at anybody realistically. Both play for the same cricket club. Newcastle are seriously looking at Rafa. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Rafa, all but agreed with Barca. That's the rumours. Yeah, I've seen those. If we go down,
They won't be able to afford him if we don't get relegated. They won't be able to afford Rafinha.
Good. We're going back here. We've got loads of questions. KP will not leave if relegated. Southgate won't pick players in the Championship. Fair point. 60 plus for Rafa. The board hinting at Bielsa maybe coming back.
What?
I don't remember. I don't know about that.
No, that's not.
Jason, tell us a bit more about
anything to do with any of that.
Nah. I don't think Rads was there in his seat afterwards. He'd left. They did brilliant getting us up, 100%, and bringing Marcelo, but I think they should shout themselves. I think they shot themselves in the foot, but how much of it they ordered from 49ers? Just exactly pretty much what I was saying. Fans got themselves to blame for cheering complete failure all season. More, you're starting to bore me. Shot, yeah. Moore's blamed the fans and our best players tonight. Well done, Moore. They need to show how we feel. No matter what happens, we are Leeds. No midfield since 2019. Look at the wonders of signing Ericsson. Yeah. For sure signed how you want shirt after the game. Great stuff. Oh, here she is again. We need to bring Bate, Cresswell, Geldhart, Somerville, Greenwood, Struick into the first team and add Premier League quality players to complement them. That's not a bad shout. They might be a bit young to be playing first team Premier League football week in, week out. Just a guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but you only do that if you get relegated. You bring those players through into the first team if you get relegated. Otherwise, you get relegated.
Yeah, exactly. At best, management have been naive. They didn't really believe in the going down to come up plan. Kids relegated as well. Sure, the format the club are using isn't effective. Our position is nothing to do with injuries. The squad are not good enough. More, you are either drunk or you don't. You're not coming across very well to me tonight. Sorry, lads, but I don't believe in Jesse Marsch at all. Hey, all about opinions, Dark Destroyer. Guy, for me, seems lost. Points we've got under him have been due to luck or players rather than his tactics. See, I can't completely agree with this, especially when you look at the facts and figures. We've not lost against anybody outside the top six, apart from his 2 games in charge. I don't know. Make of it what you will. Make of it. Oh, she's back. Bielsa should have been sacked after the first 10 games of the season. Marsch has done a fabulous job in taking things to the last game of the season.
This is a scum fan. This is a scum fan.
Yeah, I don't think Moore's.
No, Moore's pissing himself at laughing at us. I think somewhere.
Yeah. Cool. Couple more comments and we'll have a bit more of a chat. Where did we get to? There we are. Layla's not sure he's good enough for that, but players wouldn't feel blah. Yeah. I've heard before the Watford game, he sent the players on holiday who came back for 5 days prior to the game at Vicarage Road. I've heard before the Watford game, he sent the players on holiday who came back from. So who sent who on who? Russ, who sent who on holiday?
Roy Hodgson, I assume, because they had a lot of players missing for the Everton game. They basically had a reserve team out and still managed to draw 0-0.
I see. There has been nothing exciting about this season. We sound ridiculous judging Marsch, and he's had who you wouldn't buy in a million years of the same players she doesn't like.
He really doesn't like. He just really doesn't like the championship winning team, does he?
You lot talking about performances when points are what we need.
But just go back to that last comment from Moore. We sound ridiculous judging Marsch when he's had Ayling, Cooper, Dallas, Click and Forshaw, who he wouldn't buy in a million years. We have gone periods of the season without those players, and that's why we've struggled so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally half of them that he's mentioned are out at the moment. So.
Yeah.
There's more comments from Moore anyway, so sit tight. I can't expect a manager to get the players winning, and this isn't Moore, by the way. Blah blah. Yeah, the players playing attacking presence has been ingrained. Exactly. I like this comment actually, 8-ball Ali, because it's a realistic comment, and I've spoken about it certainly on Twitter to people, but I don't know if I've ever voiced it on here. But trying to unlearn everything the Bielsa way, which was installed into them robotically, pretty much in such a short period of time, in the middle of the season, when your confidence is on your ass. Look, it's not going to be easy. Anybody who's played any level of sport and been coached, when changing coach isn't that easy, but to do it at a professional level, when they're doing it every day in a particular style, to forget that and start playing a completely different way, it's difficult, man, and we've got to give a little bit of respect to the players. First of all, for changing that, but also for Marsch still getting some of the results out of it. Look, it's not over yet anyway. But I celebrated when Aileen and James would not be involved in the last few games.
Tell us more. How did you celebrate that? I really.
How did that go down? Our under 23s have suffered absolutely, Lee, because we've been so reliant on these 23s, and I take my hat off to each and every one of them who's stepped out for the first team this season, or even travelled and been on the bench and not got time. But yeah, we have suffered. Ultimately, they've been relegated from that PL2 or whatever it is it's called, because of their best players have been with our first team. Even our decent under 21s would be cherry picked. Yeah, we played well today, and we're out the bottom three. We can survive. I agree with that. More. That's the best thing you've said all night.
Go on, more. What more sensible comments have you got? I want to see some more. Yes, absolutely.
Have you guys seen that Paul Merson called Pascal's Strike? Yeah, Skook. He calls him Skook. I've seen that. Hung around after the game. All right, Isaac didn't finish what he's saying. Hung around after the game.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Thank you.
Got autographs from players. Marsch came out later on, had photos, blah, blah. Yeah, signed. He expects Bamford to be fit for next week. Good stuff. Moore needs a timeout. Marsch let the players go on holiday again before going to play Watford.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah, so what?
Costa is surplus to requirements. We leave Davis and Cody at Cardiff. What Leeds should do with them? Cody is out getting plaudits. I think a good question. I spoke about this the other day. I said I'm hoping Cody Drama comes back and proves himself to the to whoever's coaching at the time, because he's had a fantastic season at Cardiff, and I may have well been wrong about his attitude. Believe
a lot
of
what happens with him depends on his mentality, I think, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Is he willing to come back and fight for a place? And if he is, then, I don't think Bielsa would have had him back after he asked for him to stay on until the end of the month and then go on loan, and he didn't. But, it's a whole new world now.
Whole new world. Hey, she's back. He's back. It's all about opinions. I've been a Leeds fan since '69. I've seen our best players. I know when players have quality. Yeah. What have I missed then, Jack?
Moore's after March's job. That's the thing.
Yeah. If we stay up, we should sell both Phillips and Raft to properly rebuild a Premier League squad with depth to be sustainable in this league. Ailing, Cooper, Dallas, and Forshaw to play less. Look, I don't disagree with that. I don't think there's a couple in there that I probably do disagree with, but they're the senior members of the squad, and ultimately that's what happens. They play lesser roles in terms of minutes on the pitch, but probably more predominant and obvious around the changing rooms and match day squads and everything like that. But
look at how we've struggled with Pablo gone, Berra gone,
exactly,
even Alioski gone. We need some experience. It's not just a case of just buying in 21, 22, 23-year-old up and coming promising players. You need some experience in your squad. You
do. Absolutely. That goes back to what we mentioned about a goalkeeper, to support and mentor, I suppose. Ilian. So yeah, it's all going to work out. Love the positivity. We need to throw sentiment out the window. Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a business, and if we want to be competitive, yeah, I agree. However, as Gilly just alluded to, we do need that older head, those players that have done it, even international type players as well. A lot of them are. Pontus will give us a penalty when we play for Brentford. That's not a bad bet. That's not a bad bet. I bet he doesn't let us
I don't think he'll do it on purpose.
Well, he can give us 4 of them if he wants.
Yeah. Everton thought they were safe, awkward. Yeah, but we'll talk about that in a sec, actually. Where things going, Marsh needs to send the fans on holiday. If we stay up, we can't sell both Phillips and Ralph. Otherwise, let's go down now. And then finally, then we'll go into a little bit more of the comments. Thanks, everybody, for your comments. Loads tonight to get through. We do appreciate them. If we stay up, don't know why we're getting hopeful again. What are the 3 positions that need the biggest strengthening? For me, we need another striker, a centre midfielder, and another Pablo. Yeah, I think they're right. They're all right.
You go with all of that.
Well, yeah, and we mentioned the goalkeeper as well earlier.
Yeah, but I think initially, if you're looking at first team contenders, whatever you want to call it, somebody to push Bamford when he's not injured, a quality Premier League quality Danny Ings type player for me, and then central midfield. Yeah, a central midfielder, obviously, and then another Pablo. We're in dire need of a creative midfielder at 10. So yeah, I couldn't disagree more. Right, keep your comments coming. We've not got ages left, but we're going to play a quick advert, and then we'll have a bit more of a chat, and we'll finish off with a few more of your comments. Cheers, guys. Playing the advert.
I thought you were, sorry. Oh, then I did. CBD are a family company with a local shop feel to it and exist to continue to promote the obvious and immediate benefits of CBD products while keeping the cost to you, the consumer, as low as possible. You'll find multiple flavours available on our site, as well as answers to frequently asked questions around how to use the products and suggestions on what's right for you, as well as a web form for you to get in touch. You'll find free delivery on orders over £50, and don't forget to use the Ought to Know Better discount code of OKB10 for 10% discount on all products.
Recognise that bloody sexy voice somewhere. I don't know who he is live.
I watched that without sound. It was very creepy.
You watched it without sound?
Yeah,
just
it's a tap for sound. Yeah, just the beat moving across the screen. I was like, this is really weird. I was tripping out.
Did you think it was going to be one of them things that made you jump and jumped out of it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right then, lads, let's get on to realism now. Let's move on to today's results and what it means for us as a club and what it could potentially mean for us. So obviously we've picked up a point more than both our rivals, but they've both got an additional game in hand. We're talking about obviously Everton imploding. I don't know if anybody or both of you watched it or caught any of it.
I had it on radio and I watched the last 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't radio on way home from the game.
So I didn't watch much of it. I just caught a bit of it, just sort of a little bit at the start and that. But it looks like I think did they go 2-0 up Everton or 1-0? And
no, so they did go 1-0 up. I think by half time it was 2-1. Brentford had equalised, and then Everton got a penalty that they scored. So I think it was 2-1 at half time. But I think if you look at the players that they've got available to them, so we mentioned about Rondon. But the young kid that got sent off from centre back was brought in because they're struggling for defenders. So I think he's 19. I think it was only his third game in the Premier League, and now he's not available to them. Yeah, and then now he's not available to them either. So fingers crossed that causes them some real issues.
Yeah. Well, they'll have Elise and Zaha running at them on Thursday. So let's hope they batter them.
Yeah, I mean they've really been thrown back into it, haven't they, with that result? I think, and especially with the red cards and as well, it's almost like us over the last couple of games. And who've they got last game of the season? Arsenal, is it?
Arsenal away.
Arsenal away.
So they've got a couple of tough games, you see, and if they're a point ahead of us. If we need to win the last game for Everton to go down, pretty much, don't we? Or have a chance of going down, should I say? A point won't do it because of the goal difference. So, and that's suggesting they lose both their games. But even if they pick up a point and lose their last game against Arsenal and we win, then obviously they're still finished below us. So, he's thrown it wide open, hasn't it? Those results today. Tottenham only just scraping past Burnley as well. It was I watched that, and Tottenham, after beating, was it Chelsea they beat earlier on in the week?
Yeah,
Chelsea they beat earlier on in the week, was it?
We'd have taken this at the start of the day if all the stress and the nerves. If someone said, I mean, obviously we'd have liked to have scored maybe straight after Brighton scored, and then it just be 1-1 rather than the whole dramatic late goals again. We'd have taken Brentford and Spurs winning today, and us.
Oh no, it would Arsenal that Spurs beat, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, sorry.
North London derby.
That's right. I knew it was somebody down. I knew it was somebody down lose way. But yeah, look. All things said, I think we've got to take a lot of positives out of today. You know, we've shown a little bit more commitment, a bit more positivity, a bit more confidence. We haven't, from what I understand, picked up any injuries. I know Struik, or whatever you want to call him, picked up a little knock and then fucking nodded one in at the back, bastard, didn't it?
I prefer Skook now. I prefer
Pascal Skook.
Yeah, cheers, guys. He got all excited, didn't he? Bless him.
Yeah, so look, I don't think today, the only way today could have got any better was us winning that game. But all in all, a positive day for a Leeds fan, certainly, and for us to go into, I know we've got Brentford next Sunday, and there's a couple of midweek games which might determine what we've got to do down there. And
yeah, so I think from Brentford's perspective, they've played Villa recently and got beat 3-0, and that were at home, and they're at Villa Park through the week. So that'll be a tough fixture for them. Newcastle last game at season, although they are playing them at home. So I think if it were Newcastle away, I think that would be a real different. But they'll want to finish on a positive note. So that for me, I think I can't see him getting much at Villa. I think they might get a point against Newcastle.
Yeah,
maybe. I think Villa have got Man City in their last game, so I think their last sort of gift to the fans at home will be, wanting to beat Burnley. I know for the other night they had, I think, 41,000 at Villa Park. They obviously get a good turnout. I think the Villa Park factor should make that very difficult for them.
Well,
I would be surprised to see them set up in a similar way as they did today and try and get a point, because they're not going to beat Villa by attacking them. I don't think I think they know they don't have enough to do that. Hopefully I'm not wrong. Anyway.
So, let's come to, in fact, we'll do final comments, and then I'll go quickly round and just ask you the burning question. Very, very quickly. It's difficult for anyone to just come in and replace an iconic like Bielsa, like Moyes replacing Ferguson and Clough replacing Revie. Yeah, spot on. Do you think we need a left back to push Firpo on? Absolutely. I don't think Firpo's the answer at left back. I think he's had some good games. What about you two?
Leif Davis doesn't do that.
No, I don't think he's good enough.
He's very good.
Very good, Davis. If we go down, we simply need to buy a Man City team. Fair point. Yeah. I mean,
all right.
Dead straightforward, that, yeah.
Yeah, Koch was class today. Yeah, Robin played well. A bit baffled as to why March says Greenwood has adapted to his style the best, yet doesn't play him. And then Everton have done well against higher teams in the Premiership. They come undone against lower mid-tables. Yeah, spot on. Two quick questions then, gents, before we foxtrot Oscar for the evening, and I can go and chill and whatever else. Man of the match, first of all. Lou, I'll start with you, and why? I know you didn't. I know you didn't watch it and you heard it, but you must have got a general idea of who was playing all right.
Yeah, probably the Brighton keeper, mate. To be honest, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, yeah. He did make some outstanding saves. To be fair, he probably kept them in the game. What about from a Leeds perspective? Scooch.
Oh, Skooky. Yeah. I don't know. It sounded like Raf had a good game, to be fair. Lots of chances. He seems to like to hit the woodwork with his free kicks. I know he didn't do that today, but he's putting them in the right areas. He sounds like he was influencing things, putting people's opinions to bed about not caring, which he quite clearly does. But to be honest, mate, without having watched the game, I couldn't really say.
Nah.
They were just banging on about Sanchez and how it was just sounded inevitable, a goalkeeper at Ellen Road when we need some points, pulling off worldies left, right, and centre. It's just annoying.
Yeah. I did Gilly, just quickly. Who was your man of the match?
Joffrey. I think when you look at the centre halves he were up against and the showing that he put, he was fearless. Went straight. He went for everything, and he did pretty well against them. I think that he held it up as well as could be expected, and brought other players in. Should have got a goal if Cooper had got his face out of the way. So yeah, no, I think Joffrey played pretty well today.
Yeah, spot on. I did a poll earlier. Not a poll. I didn't do a Mateus click. I did a poll. So man of the match, and Joffrey won 73.6% of the votes out of 1,000 votes. So look,
wow, that's a lot.
A lot of comments for just sort of tip of the hats to Robin Koch, Coops, Click, and to Furpo as well, who all got little nods.
Just a quick one, lads. 1,725 away tickets for Brentford next Sunday. How many do you reckon, or do you think it depends on Thursday? How many people do you reckon will travel down? There's lots of like Bournemouth away sort of like part two sort of stuff being said. Do you think we're sort of overhyping ourselves that we will go and bring 10,000 to a game where only 1,725 have got tickets? What do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's potential bedlam or not?
I'm going, and I don't have a ticket. So possibly.
That answers your question there.
Yeah. Right,
possibly, yeah. So yeah, I'll be going down there. I did plan on going out and watching it around Leeds, but I think because of the significance of the game now, if it was a dead rubber, I would have obviously not bothered. But because I think I suppose it depends what happens on Wednesday as well. But even so, because we're up in front of Burnley, if they were to win on Wednesday, they could still be relegated if they lose on the last day and we win.
Yeah.
So regardless, this game against Brentford is going to determine our Premier League future. So I think there'll be a lot of people going down without tickets and just watching in local bars and pubs and whatever else. But we'll see. I suppose.
I'm more worried for my suitcase if we stay up. To be honest, that's getting an absolute kick in. Let me tell you.
And then the one more quick question before the burning one. Who would you take from Brighton if you were to snap up one of their players from today's performance, or just in general? Who would do us spot on? Yeah, without a doubt.
I rate Lamptey. Yeah.
He didn't even start from Lamptey, did he?
He didn't, no. Is he coming back from injury, though?
Not sure.
But yeah, I especially if you look at, Firpo.
There's an offer.
Firpo. But yeah.
Yeah. I think he would improve us more than any other position in terms of the players that they've got. Him or Trossard for me. I think Trossard would be a good 10 for us.
He's a knob, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a dick. Lamptey. Dark Destroyer says, Lou, buy a new suitcase if we stay up. Cock, man of the match for me. Stay positive. We can do this. We lost 3 players and should have gotten 3 to replace them, but we only got 2 yet. We've gone on about that enough. Right, last questions then. Are we playing Premier League football next season, Lou?
Yes, I think so. I was down to defeat today, so I'm taking this small positive. I think that goal scoring late, that's a tiny bit of momentum that we need to take up. So I think we have a chance now, at least. And I don't think we did before the start of today because we all assumed we were going to lose. So
yeah, I think the lateness of that goal just sets that belief. If had we lost today, the answer would have been probably quite a lot different.
Yeah.
Gilly, do we play in the Championship or in the Premier League next season?
Championship.
Ooh, do you think so? Do you think Burnley have got enough to pick? Do you think Burnley will pick up more points than us in the remaining games?
I think we go down on goal difference.
That'd be cruel as fuck, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But let's be honest, if we're taking us out of the equation, it's way funnier if Everton go down, isn't it?
Oh, big time. Yeah. I would love that. I'd really would love that.
I know a lot needs to happen, but I'd be crying for months on end with laughter and tears of joy.
And to be fair, the way that they've fallen apart today makes it much more likely that it's going to happen. This
is the thing. They go 1-0 down in their next game at home, and the crowd turns on them like we do. It's game on. The pressure and the pressure told today. They had 9 men at the end. They might not be key players, but they need defenders. They've got two more players, 2 more potential game-changing subs not going to be in the squad. They've got problems of their own. You can see the goal. I'd love it
to be Everton. I'd love it to be Everton. And had they not beaten Chelsea, they'd be 2 points behind us now.
Yeah.
If they'd lost to Chelsea, which they probably should have done on any other day of the week.
Late goal. They probably could have put it to bed by beating Watford, to be fair, and they couldn't do that. So they're digging their own grave, to be honest.
Yeah. I think they're in more dire straits than we are, you know, in terms of sort of momentum. I think we've got a bit going this way and they've got sort of quite the opposite at this stage. So, yeah,
It's
ideally...
a bigger fear factor for them. You know, if Everton go down, as a club, they are fucked.
Absolutely.
If we go down, yeah, all right, our playing squad will take a major hit. We know that. And, you know, any side that's not Norwich that comes up and goes out, West Brom, they'll just alternate with each other, pretty much keep the same squad, Fulham do the same. You know, that it's not going to impact them as much as it does us, the playing squad, because they've already got just the Championship squad, whereas we've spent a bit of money. But, you know, Everton go down and they could just keep going down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're going to be in so much trouble financially, especially with new stadium building and everything, aren't they?
Yeah.
We're not as in a bad a position if we go down than they are. Not that that's you know, anything to brag about. But if Everton do go down,
we're Leeds United. We don't have no debt.
I'd like one of these brilliant Leeds United artists to do me some sort of a collage of Everton players crying. So I'd have Seamus Coleman, Mason Holgate, obviously Frank Lampard, Pickford, Richarlison. Obviously, I'd have all of them crying in some sort of like canvas collage, and I'll have that on my wall to remember this season.
Fingers crossed, we can hope. Anyway, just to let you know, Michael Normanton from the Square Ball did a poll earlier on in the week as to whether or not we were staying up or going down, and I think about 29 or 30% of people thought we'd still stay up. Anyway, I did a poll after tonight's game of whether we'll stay up or down. And we had 600 and something votes on there, and 51.2% of people said we will stay up now, compared to 48.8% who thinks we'll be relegated.
Do one on Monday morning when everyone's got a hangover, mate, and see how different it looks.
Yeah, we'll probably do one after Wednesday as well. Doing after Wednesday. Anyway, yeah, thanks ever so much, everybody, for joining. Please do like and subscribe if you don't already. That'd be very, very appreciative. Thanks, Lou, for jumping on and supporting Gilly and myself. Tuesday night we'll have the main pod. I'm not quite sure who's on there, but we'll have the usual four OKB regulars on there talking shite and in preparation for Wednesday night's games.
I've just something to show you as well. I think Riot Badger might have made this, but I've just got something to show you.
Took his time, then pulled out the red card, and there can't be too many.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Look. If that is the best ending to the season would be Chelsea going down. Look, we've got to prepare ourselves.
I mean, I would love that.
Sorry, Everton going down.
What?
Everton going down. Look, we've been on for fucking an hour and 15 minutes. I'm tired of you two now.
I'm starving.
Yeah, so look, we can only do what we can do. It's great to get the fans behind the team, and I think we've got that little bit of momentum that takes us into Brentford. We'll see how we fare on after Wednesday's games. But thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll catch up with you on Tuesday. Cheers, lads. Thank you.
Nice one, lads. See you later.